Welcome to this week's Strategic Project Management class. Sorry, I'm getting a little hiccup. I'm used to seeing myself on video, and I'm not here. I'm only going to shoot my video on the first page. The rest of these, you're going to just hear my audio. So welcome to this week's session. I think the best thing to do is to go ahead and start getting into this thing. So you'll hear me on the next slide. Hi again, here without a video, but like I said, you'll see me lots of times through my introductory recorded sessions that I'll do, but the rest of the time you'll just get my lovely, excuse me, voice, which I'm losing today. So on this slide and this week, what I plan to do is cover the syllabus. It might be good to have a copy of the syllabus out when I do the syllabus review, just because I'm going to go through it page by page for you here so you can kind of hear what you see or what you're reading there. I want to cover the case analysis, the case discussions, or really the discussion forums. That should have been a changed slide, but I'm not going to go to it. And talk a little bit about that final case project that's mentioned and a little bit of the project overview. You're going to be fed with a fire hose this week on the SIM project, and that's why I intentionally only gave you the first chapter to read, because I really want to have you spend a lot of time exploring and studying the SIM project. You're going to learn a lot about project management just by managing the simulation, and trust me, you'll probably have lots of questions coming into my open office hours next Tuesday. Then I want you to just, you'll take a look at Moodle. Maybe while you're watching or listening to this, you'll open Moodle up and I'll page through what you'll see in Moodle week to week as well. So other than that, I'm going to do a little bit of chapter 1 and then continue on talking about what's going on the rest of the week. So, of course, we can't do self-introductions here, but you did those self-introductions essentially through the first discussion forum. Using this slide, full disclosure, when I was doing some of this class in a live distance learning setting, I probably should have changed it, but I'm on a roll now, so I'm not going to change it here. So let me just skip this slide. But I do want to go over the syllabus. So it might be good to just get a copy of the syllabus out while you look at that. So if you look at the first page, there's some information about me and my contact information. Going down there, you can see when I'm available in the office. I'm usually in my office during office hours unless something dragged me away. But for the distance learning folks, that's probably when you're at work for most of you, which is fine. I realize that this is an off hours activity, so it is for me as well. So at night, weekends, whatever makes sense for the both of us, be happy to meet up with you. You do have an opportunity every Tuesday at 7 o'clock to go to the live office hours for any interaction and help you need for that week or for stuff from the previous week. So hopefully there'll be easy ways to contact me, even though this is sort of a self-paced week-to-week course. It's not really self-paced, so just be careful to be using that term. So if we go further on and look at page 2, the most important thing, read the whole syllabus. It's all important. We don't put that stuff in there for help, but you need to know about what you need for this class. And you'll need a copy of the book, One Way, Shape, or Form, electronic, international edition, 6th edition, more importantly, because there are cases in there that are not in some of the other editions. The only thing that you're going to be required to buy from Clarkson, because there's no external pay source for that, is the simulation. I realize that some of you may not purchase the simulation, but day one we need to start looking at the simulation. So when I get to that section of this lecture, you're already got access now, but eventually when we go into the team-based simulation, and you'll learn more about that later, you'll need to actually have your own code to submit, and I will give you the simulation code you need to sign up for that full simulation that's team-based. More about that later. There's the link to your textbook website is very useful. It has the PowerPoint slides for each chapter and other resources that help with learning. I recommend you go there as you want to supplement your class. Again, these are weekly asynchronous sessions in Moodle, semi-self-paced throughout the week, but you got to complete week 1 really before you're ready for week 2. It's a 10-week semester plus a week finals week, and I use part of finals week for one more topic, as you can see, you'll see in the schedule. But you'll also need to stay engaged in simulation decisions on a timely schedule, as I'll note later, as well as reply to discussion forums and I think I'm going to hold to a Saturday deadline for the first reply. I give you from Tuesday night, from Wednesday when I put the new discussion forum in for that week, through Saturday to come in and do the initial work to reply to that. I'll make sure it's stuff that you should be engaged in. It won't be something not useful. Let's see what else do I have on this page here. It's 12 to 15 hours a week. The first week might be a little more. I hate to say it. I'm going to be using a thing called CatMe, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, to put you into teams. So we're going to be in teams of 2. We got an even number of students in our sections, and we'll put you in teams of 2 for the team-based simulation, and then you, at your option, may choose to work on some of the material with your partner and submit just a group assignment. More about that in a second as well. So in terms of what makes up this class, we have 3 written cases worth 5% each, 15% total. A final case report worth 10%. 5 simulation experiential exercises, 2 of which you must do on your own, the first 2. The other 3 you may choose to do with your partner, one of which you'll need to work with them on anyway, so you might want to submit one. Sim project, participation in scoring, making decisions on time. You have to make sure that you put this down on your calendar somewhere, that sim decisions, we'll look at the last page, but I need you to make those decisions on time. I can't process the simulation until you submit your decisions. And there will be a penalty if you stop doing it. Besides the scoring, it actually impacts your ability to do good work in here. So final exam that covers some of the fundamentals, chapters 1 through 9 and 13. I've got discussion forums that you'll be doing weekly. Probably not more than 1 a week, and there may be some weeks where we don't do any, although I say in the syllabus 1 or more weekly, just to hedge my bets. And then there's some team engagement stuff and class engagement stuff, doing the work in Moodle that I can measure via some Moodle reports as well for the last 10%. You can see my grading scale. We are on, you need at least 70% to pass my class, and then you can see those accordingly. So let me just go ahead and look at so for Sim Project, you already have, like I said, you already have access to that, and I do want to talk about that separately in a further lecture. So go ahead and read that section in Sim Project at a later date. Then looking at my syllabus again on assigned problems and cases, the problem assignments are for your learning information. It's nothing that I will be doing or collecting, but I'll reference problems that you should know how to do, and that will form the basis for that final exam that you take at the end of the semester. And I want to hold off on giving you some details on the final case report. I got a separate slide on that and a separate slide on cases as well. So let's hold off on that. Then just a note here, the final exam, again, chapters 2, 5 through 9, and 13 form the content of things I can measure from an examination standpoint. And it validates the fact that you've got some fundamental project management knowledge. So please read my section on academic integrity as well. So I just want to get to the schedule. And if you're looking at page 7 of my syllabus, you can see that here our weeks start on September 7th. That's the first night of the quarter, first day of the quarter, if you will. And you can see the topic I'm planning and the assignment for that week. So assignments and topics fill out the second column. And then the third column lets you know when stuff's due. So you can see we pretty much have something due every week on the Tuesday. So Tuesday the 20th, Tuesday the 27th. I timed my due dates to be after our open office hours, so they're the last minute questions that come up, and maybe Tuesday night's your night that you power through the homework. And I'll probably set a deadline of like midnight on Tuesday or 11:55 p.m. on Tuesdays to have your work done. So you'll have plenty of time to ask those final questions and still get things done. So that's our plan from week to week. Again, the last week of the semester starts on the 16th. There'll be a little topic. It's just some overview stuff at the end, and then I'll release your final exam on the 19th, and you'll get self-paced. You'll get until Tuesday evening to complete it and submit it back. Then I need to grade it and get my grades in time. So that's the plan of the overall semester. Lots to cover. This class is a 10-week class, or 11-week class, I guess, effectively. is sort of a challenge for both the instructor and the student. And as long as we're both staying on pace, we'll get through it. We'll get through it together. So look at the last page, and the last page is really important that you take a note of these certain important deadlines coming up with the simulation. The simulation does not work unless everyone is participating in it. And to get you to participate soon, I have got you set up in the simulation already. So you already got a username and password. You're in a practice simulation. We're only going to get to practice about 3 rounds before we reset the sim, put you into teams, and do something a little different with the simulation before we get started. And I think I'll hold off on talking more about that until my slide on the simulation as well. But be mindful of the schedule. Saturday at midnight and Tuesday at midnight are your deadlines. Is it midnight? 9 p.m. 9 p.m. processed overnight. What did I say here? 10 p.m. Please don't do it at midnight. I'd love to have enough time to do some things in the evening sometimes. So 10 p.m. is my deadline. Okay, there I go. And then you'll get results no later than 9 a.m. the next day. I might be following up with some of you at 10:05, asking you why you haven't submitted your decisions yet. More on that when we get into some of the meat about the rest of the class. So some details about cases. You're responsible for writing up 3 cases. I typically use some of the cases out of the textbook or bring a case in from the outside and then post it as a PDF. Usually I have you put something in your real world experiences. You're all working professionals, I presume, and you've starting to gain or have gained lots of experiences in the things that impact projects. And so I like to see that. That's what really provides or accelerates you to a good grade in case analyses. But I do let you do those 3 with your teammate if you want to do them together. So we'll be putting you into teams with CATME. We'll announce those probably next week. Or a specific date. Let's see. You need to know who's on your team by the 27th. Actually, by the 22nd. So we'll be in the team soon. More about that next week. I gotta get my calendar out for that, but we won't be doing any teams this week. But every other week, you'll be engaging in a discussion forum. That's probably closer to the pace than 1 or 2 a week in my syllabus. We'll see how it goes. I want you to engage in the online with your students online as much as possible. I'm replacing some of what I used to do synchronously, where we have to show up on one night a week to class with the discussion forums. Now this time we're getting the option to do that. So the rules of the road will be: I'll post no later than Wednesday morning, the week the discussion forum is due. You'll put any initial comments or your initial response to my question or to what I want you to respond to. That will give you access to all the other students and their responses, and I'm going to ask you to read those and provide whatever additional responses to individual students and what they had to say in a meaningful way by Tuesday evening. So that's going to be the rules on weeks we do discussion forum. So by the end of the semester, you will have seen, end of the quarter, excuse me, you will have seen several cases either through case write-ups or through discussion forums, and you have some real-world experiences that I want to learn from. And so you're going to write a final case, which is going to be something original. You're going to tell me a story about something that you do or something you did or maybe something at home, something at work, and how project management principles apply. I'll plan on giving you way more details on that about 3 weeks or so before it's due. We'll be on a semester-long project simulation called SimProject. SimProject is a web-based simulation. It is created by some project management instructors, professors, I should say, over at Penn State University. Really good, real good, real learning simulation, one of the best ones I've seen. So make sure you go to the website and take a look at the overview. Starting this week is really about navigating through the sim, seeing where you can make hiring and firing decisions, seeing where you can make assignments to tasks and all that stuff. You have your accounts already set up for the practice simulation, username and password. I've used your Clarkson username without the @clarkson.edu. if you're less than 6 characters, and I think it may apply to one or more of you in class, just add a number 1 at the end to make a full 6 characters. So here's the plan. You will, in order to learn both project management and the simulation, I take a two-pronged approach. The first plan is to get you to understand the simulation, some of the nuances, the trials and tribulations, the mistakes we can make, and I want to let all that happen through 3 or 4 rounds. And so all of you are signed up to individual sims. You're in a simulation with 8 other teams, all doing the same project and essentially competing to see who can get it done the fastest, or I should say within budget and within time. I wouldn't say fastest or cheapest, but within budget and with time. And you'll see on the next screen some information about some of the baseline information about the project. So you've been given a team with a lot of resources on it. One of the things you'll need to do is figure out who you need for a short version of the simulation. You won't need everyone on your team, and trust me, if you keep everyone on your team for the 3 or 4 periods that we wind up practicing, you will blow your budget because you'll be paying for people that you can't use. So I said for scheduled 3 rounds, but we may try and figure out how to squeeze a 4th simulation round in depending on feedback from you. After a couple weeks, and it looks like starting on the 27th, we'll be in the team-based simulation. I need everyone to start signing in no later than the 22nd so you can actually go look at some additional information about the simulation, because you'll want to study the resources, the individual people that you can hire for your project. And I'll talk more about that in a couple weeks. So for now, go ahead and explore the simulation and take a look at some of the documentation that I've put together, and just to start familiarize yourself. You know, my expectation is that by Saturday, September 17th, you'll be able to submit your first period decisions of hiring and firing and resource assignments.